Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammang sangham namasami. I feel especially touched this morning to notice Ruwanti here from her home in Florida. She was visiting us very recently, and now having returned to Florida, there is one of the alumni or one of the bhikkhunis who was ordained by at Dhammadharini called Venerable Maharajina, a wonderful bhikkhuni who's been living in Florida without the support of a full sangha. And because of circumstances now, some of the families in Florida have discovered Venerable Maharajina, and she has the chance to visit and speak about the Dhamma and lead programs for the families there in Florida. I can just see that having this Dhamma discussion with people is how the Dhamma stays alive by means of having discussions. I see Venerable Dhammaruchika, who I think is here from very far away. Is it in India that you're staying, Venerable? Yes. Are you staying in India or Sri Lanka?
Yes.
Yes. Where are you? Say again where you're staying? Where are you living?
I'm from Colombo, Hyderabad.
Ah, wonderful. So you see, in this little small group of a few people, the Dhamma is going all the way from Colombo to California to Florida. And this could give us a lot of happiness just to imagine the entire globe being covered by the light of the Dhamma shining in a few different places around the world. I thought for our meditation today, we could think of pervading the body with mindfulness such that the entire body would be completely saturated with mindfulness so that and Canada too, I see. Okay, Canada. Okay. We don't have anybody yet in South America. Sometimes we get people from Europe. Okay. Pervading the body with mindfulness. Letting the imagining mindfulness as being like a light, which illuminates whatever we direct our awareness towards. So when our awareness comes to the sensation of sitting, for example, the weight of the body pressing on the seat or the cushion, it's like a flashlight or a spotlight has made that part of the whole web of all our experiences come into focus and be clearly seen. And then that spotlight of awareness can roam around as we investigate many different parts of the body, and then can expand so that the entire body is held in awareness, as if every cell of the body is completely filled with awareness or mindfulness. Every cell of the body is illuminated by that light of awareness. The metaphor is, if you had a very large water jug that was filled up to the very brim, so that even a crow could perch at the edge of the jug and take a drink of water. Then, if somebody came wanting to pour water into that jug, they couldn't, because the jug is completely full. And so, if we make every cell in the body completely filled up, saturated, filled, pervaded with that mindful awareness, there's no room for Mara, the evil one, to get in. No room for negative or harmful habits to creep in, as long as we keep that full awareness going. So if that sounds good, let's come together and sit for mindfulness. Coming to an upright and balanced posture. Arranging the body so that it's upright and balanced. With enough energy to stay upright. Like a tree planted in the earth is staying upright with enough energy to reach up to the sun. And without slouching over the spine or the torso, letting the soft parts of the body relax. Letting the face relax. Letting the shoulders drop. Letting the hands rest in the lap. Letting the belly be soft. Letting the knees and the legs relax. Feeling the earth element of the body connected to the floor or the cushion. And if any parts of the body are feeling tight or feeling sore or feeling nervous, just giving kind, patient awareness to that part of the body. Relaxing around that tightness or the nervousness or whatever it may be. Fully, patiently accepting the body just the way it is. Letting go of all the mental agitation or worry or hopes or plans or thinking. The mind doesn't need to do anything but one small, gentle job. Being aware of the body. Aware of the earth element of the body. The part which is hard and soft. The part that has the weight. The part that has got a structure staying upright. Scanning the body from head to toe. Noticing the hard and earthy parts of the body. And in the head, the shoulders, the arms, the torso, the seat and the hips, the legs and the knees, the feet, noticing the earthiness of the earth element in the body. And noticing the water element in the body, saliva or sweat or blood or tears, if water is noticeable in one place, noticing the water element there, letting the spotlight go to water in just one place. Gently expanding the field of awareness, noticing water in a larger part of the body. And expanding still farther, noticing water in every part of the body. And bringing awareness to the heat element. Noticing what is warm or cool. Finding the warmest part of the body, possibly the middle of the torso. Directing awareness to the heat element there. And expanding to a larger part of the body, feeling the heat element, spreading through the body. As the spotlight of awareness grows, the area of heat seems to grow. And letting the heat element expand through the whole body, noticing the heat element everywhere in the body. Noticing the air element and the movement of the body. With the breath flowing in and out. The movement of the lungs and the diaphragm with the rise and fall of the breath. and from one small part where the breath is very clear, expanding awareness to every part of the body which is touched by the breath. Expanding awareness, including all the parts of the living body that are moving with the heartbeat, the flowing of the blood, the energy and digestion, the vibration of the nervous system, aware of the air element everywhere in the body. Aware of the entire body. I invite your comments or questions about this meditation, or your observation, your report about how this meditation is for you.
I would like to comment on my meditation.
Yes.
So I appreciated like how you were talking about the um like bringing the attention to the water and like the elements of the body. But I noticed how like my mind was like drifting off, like still like thinking about the future and then kind of like proliferating, adding papancha. Even though, I was hearing you um guide the meditation. So, yeah, if you can give some advice on that.
Okay. Yes, this is what the mind does. It thinks about thoughts. And uh, even uh, when uh, sometimes we do meditation in terms of the sensations that are happening, especially the touching sensation of the body. And then with that touching sensation, naturally the mind tends to notice the feeling aspect of something pleasant or unpleasant. And when there's a feeling aspect of something pleasant or unpleasant, then it's very natural for the mind to start running off in thinking, because the mind is sort of like responds to feelings of pleasant and unpleasant. This is one of the challenges in doing meditation that is including the sense contact and the Vedana, because it's almost like inviting the mind to go off to the races with thinking and trying to notice that process as it happens. It's even more difficult if you try to directly observe the states of mind, saying, how is the mind? Is the mind affected by anger, or is it free from anger? Is it affected by desire or free from desire? And just that examination of the mind is even a stronger kind of an invitation for the mind to have the danger of running away into papancha, into proliferation. So with this meditation that I gave today, just taking it at the level of the elements, that is trying to give a way and a method that we're not inviting the papancha, the proliferation of thinking. So I would like to suggest that anybody who has a tendency for the mind to get caught up in thinking about the past and future, especially during meditation, to try doing this very simple elements meditation, even for a short amount of time. See whether it's possible to go for 5 minutes, just noticing the elements of the body without drifting away into thinking. And so there is there's a different kind of style of meditation where when the mind goes off into thinking, then one can notice the thought, one can notice the feeling connected to that thought. One can notice the arising and falling, the constantly changing nature of those thoughts. So there's many different great mindful observations that can be made when the mind is involved in thinking. But then it's also very valuable to have a time. We could say, instead of saying that you take a vacation from the habit of thinking, we could say, let's give Mara a vacation. So Mara, the evil one, can have a vacation that he doesn't have to bother us for this length of time, whether it should be 5 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. And even if one is able to put together for the length of one breath in and out with no thinking, that's something that's quite useful. And so I would like to encourage trying this meditation to see how much one can get away from that proliferation with thoughts.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Ruwanti.
Thank you for the guided meditation. First, I want to comment, even after returning home, the blessings of Dhamma continue. So we had a wonderful Dhamma day yesterday with our little Sri Lankan group here in Florida, Jacksonville, with Ayya Marachina. So I'm delighted to hear your opening comments as well. Regarding the guided meditation today, so with your initial guidance, when we were quietly meditating, observing, just like you mentioned, I was able to see things somewhat differently than I usually do. So at one time there was some numbing feeling, tightness in my legs, feet. So I contemplated on the hardness instead of the that specific feeling. And then there was somewhat swell, like kind of heat, swear. Instead of thinking about, oh, it's a hot day, I contemplated about this is the heat element. So it provided a different way of looking at rather than following the usual thought pattern. So I found the guided meditation really beneficial today. Thank you very much.
That's a great observation, and I really appreciate that. For example, feeling the tightness or a tension, that could be perceived as unpleasant. And then when we get unpleasant, then it's very difficult to keep the mind still. The mind is likely to start racing. But looking at it just in terms of the earth element, it's a way to help stay calm. With the heat, depending on one's preferences, either the heat feels so good or else it feels terrible. But when the preference come into it, the mind becomes unstable. But if it's only heat, then the mind can be stabilized. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's a good explanation. I want to acknowledge Bhikkhu Ganeshan, who is with us right now. And it's if you're happy to mention what part of the world you're in, then we can appreciate that.
Yeah, I am a Buddhist monk, venerable.
Yes.
I am from Bangladesh.
Ah, wonderful. So we're very happy to have you with us. I know you've been coming for a few times. And is there any comment that you want to make about this meditation, Bhikkhu?
No,
Okay. Thank you, and respects to you, Bhikkhu.
Yeah, thank you, Venerable.
Other comments or questions?
Hi, it's Chintana.
Yes.
Hi, I enjoyed the meditation. At the beginning of the meditation, when you said to fill each cell with energy, I felt my cells expanding and taking up too much room in the area. I'm pretty sure that's my imagination. How do you tell the difference between imagination or some occurrence that's happening in your body?
Oh, that's a great question. It's very difficult to tell. And in fact, all of this language of the guided meditation is all in terms of concepts, which are kinds of like pictures, a picture of reality, which is not the same thing as the reality itself. So whether it's what I'm indicating in the guided meditation or what comes to mind in terms of perception that one may have, the mind knows things by way of creating these pictures in the mind. These so there is some kind of a fabrication happening anytime that we're awake and experiencing things. But when they talk about proliferation, that's especially concerned about the multiplying, synergizing, getting carried away, and leading on to doing karmic actions, which are either wholesome actions or unwholesome actions that are leading on to continued existence on that stream of causation. So that's kind of, but just the act of knowing or perceiving doesn't necessarily have to start proliferating into this kind of karma that's leading us on to rebirth. So how can one tell the difference? I think it has to be by way of a feedback loop that like, is this really true? Is it really matching with what I'm experiencing? Or is it something that's gone a certain distance away that's imposing something on the experience that's not really matching? So I read a little bit of dialogue this morning about awareness and wisdom. And it said when one experiences a desire internally, can you tell that you're experiencing desire? And if you're experiencing there's no desire internally, can you tell that there's no desire internally? And the answer is yes, Bhante, I can tell. It's very easy to know. Directly, I can tell whether or not there's desire in me.
Mhm.
And then the simile is, in this way, the Dhamma is directly visible. So the Dhamma is something that you can tell. It's easy to tell internally by looking. And so if like if you can tell that saliva is wet, if you can tell that the teeth are hard, if you can tell that the heart is beating, those are sort of like direct. There's another meditation that's kind of similar to the one that I just gave you, which I don't give that meditation anymore because I think it's too much imagination. In this other meditation that I heard a monk give, it's about taking the breath, and from where the breath is very noticeable, then noticing, like if you can feel the breath at the chest, then sort of like expanding, like you can feel there's a very small amount of movement at the shoulders when one breathes in and breathes out. And so you notice the breath in the shoulders, and then like keep expanding, expanding, expanding. And so it's like you're breathing into your arms, breathing into your elbows, breathing into the tips of your fingers, breathing into your feet, so that the breath is like going into all the different parts of the body from head to toe. And that to me, when I think of like I'm breathing into my toenails, that seems like a little bit too much of imagination. But when you think of the breath in terms of the air element, and the air element is whatever in the body is like moving or vibrating. And so the whole nervous system is always vibrating with sensations. So not to mention the movement of the, of the fluids and the hormones in the blood and the physical movement of the heart and the breath and so on. So movement is definitely happening throughout the body. It could be like, maybe I'm not able to discern the movement of my fingernails growing, but I can discern the energetic quality of the nervous system pretty much from head to toe, and that's kind of like a direct, seems more like directly visible, not really requiring imagination. It just requires, look there, can you see that? But
Thank you.
don't feel bad about imagination, because it's more like a gray area than something that's black and white.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Ruwanti.
I'm sorry, yeah, this is not actually related to the meditation, but I just want to ask you, make a comment. I'm noticing that you're not wearing your usual glasses today, eyeglasses.
Yes. On Monday, I had cataract surgery in both eyes,
Mhm.
and now you look great. I can really see you. Before it was kind of like gray and
Okay.
difficult to see, and always my glasses, I was always like, these glasses don't really work that well. And I was always like cleaning my glasses. Why don't my glasses work so properly? And come to find out, it wasn't the glasses at all. It was my eyes. So now, with this medical miracle, they did something to my eyes, and now I can see all of you perfectly.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that was the case. So, together with all my friends here, the goodness that we generated in this guided meditation session, we all want to wish you complete success and recovery of your surgery. Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That may be enough for this morning. We can close by giving respect to the Triple Gem. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the blessed one. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Thank you, everyone, for your practice and for your patient listening today.
Thank you, Ayya.
Thank you, Ayya.
Yes.